Hey, so final game of the series. Hope you've been having fun so far. I've been having a lot of fun playing these games, even though I haven't won any of them yet. But hey, maybe this is the game that I might turn the tables. This one, the turn order is switched from the previous game. So we have Jin and Alex first and second. We have me as third and Ace last. The dynamics of the game change a bit because Ace's strength of dumping his hand and rebuilding with Tymna is not as good when you're last, unless you have an extremely explosive hand, which is an incentive to mulligan hard for those kind of hands. Jin and Alex being first and last, they don't have that necessity. Like, it's more clear what they're supposed to be doing and what the strengths of their decks are. Me being third, I also should be a mulligan for more burstier hands than anything else. Ace begins the game with a pregame action in Gemstone's Cavern. Good lucky. He got it. So Jin sends the soft with the foothills, cracking it for probably Volcanic Island. Oh no, he's gonna get Badlands into an imp seal, so he's shortcutting getting the Badlands and the card he's looking for. There's no mental misstep from any of us, so he can just keep going. Options here are Mana Crypt, Soul Ring if he wants to go for a easier ramp, a slower ramp, slower, Soul Ring slower. Okay. Or a Dockside if he wants to go for the later stages, or if he has all the mana, a payoff. Rhystic Study, Adnos, Fish, whatever he needs. It's a really good turn one. If he had more fast mana, it would have been a really amazing hand. So Alex goes to his turn, drops Steam Vents, I believe. In Mana Crypt into Dimmer's Signet and passing the turn. Pretty good for a 5 mana turn 2. So in my turn, I am going to play a passive my crack it into a bio, play a Noble Hierarch, and say go. Yep, Ace plays a Command Tower, and oh, it's this game. And the Gemstone into Direct Magistrate. Oh, it's this game. This is gonna take a while. Buckle up, lads. This game is gonna take a while. It's one of those games, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, then drops a Memnite and says go. That means that Dranith means that any of our commanders are gone, are just out. So Jin shuffled, he fetched for the card and shuffled after, so now he needs to fetch for the card again and shuffle again. It happens. Also, I think it was late into the night, so no mistakes can happen to all of us. Okay, so Dranith means that Tevesh, Kraum, Najeela are out. In my case, it shortens my threat level by a lot, but also Alex and Jin without rebuilding the rebuild button of Tevesh, it's pretty big. Wow, so here's the incentive from Ace to keep the Dranith. It's basically my incentive also to keep the Dranith alive and safe. So we both buy time until we can have enough board state to fight both Alex and Jin's. Again, this all comes from Tevesh being a more consistent card rather than Tymna. Because once they drop Tevesh, then Ace Tymna becomes kind of useless. So that's an exotic ore card. He actually can add any color of mana, because Gemstone Cavern can produce color at any time. Even if it doesn't have a luck counter, it could produce any mana. So And there we go. He fetched for either the heuristic or mana crypt that he had. Probably a mana crypt. Keep it. So here we have a kind of politicking. I'm pinging Alex to say like, hey, that blood crypt you had there, you're representing Pyroblast. Maybe we should stop heuristic study. So this is the politicking that we do on this pod, that we're trying to mind game, read the table, trying to make plays. So we force Alex to Elemental Blast heuristic study, which it is a good play. Like, it is good. So Alex goes to his turn. I had to roll for Scanner. Again, he doesn't have die. So I rolled a 4 and he's safe. Safe and sound. Drops a Steam Bends, takes another shock to the face. And he's gonna Praetor's Grasp. He's gonna Praetor's Grasp Ace. That's pretty good. So he's gonna get 1 card from Ace. And it's gonna message him. So both Jin and I don't have information on what it is. But it can be Beta, it can be Adnos. Adnos doesn't care about Hullbreacher. All that stuff. Gets that card, exile from the bottom, well, from his deck, face down. It's relevant. Face down being relevant because there's no information on what it can be, and passes the turn after that. Leaving, I believe, is a mana crypt open? Maybe. But on my turn, I tap out for an Oko. Trying to have another advantage here. So I cast an Oko here, and people are saying like, oh, are you going to Elk the Dranith? But... So... So Oko resolves, and I immediately create a food. And pass. I am not going to kill the Dranith. Dranith is the only thing keeping me alive in this game. So since Dranith is the one keeping me alive, I will never touch that with Oko. I will never elk it. My idea is to start making 3/3s every other turn with Oko, or if they get too crazy, just gain control of whatever I think I need. It's a slower version of anything that I can do, since Kraum can just slap it if Dranith goes away at any point. But hey. On Ace's turn, he untaps, plays Exotic Orchard and Mox Diamond, discarding Godless Shrine. And he has 1 card in hand, so he has the incentive to play Tymna. And exactly, he casts Tymna. Pretty good. So he swings 1 at Alex and 1 at Jin. So since he played Tymna and Oko is at 6, here comes the thing that there's a high point that a big decision I should be making on my turn. If I should exchange the food for the Tymna, or if I should elk Tymna. Elking Tymna is a more, more final solution. But maybe I should switch Tymna for having more card draw. We'll see. So Ace continues his turn by imp sealing for some card. Obviously, we don't know what it is. He already has the card engine set, so he might be looking for either I win card combo, like maybe Breach or something setting up, or even more engine or more ramp. Depends on what in his hand. I will probably go for a I win card, like a Nos or Pita. This is me just checking what Jeska did on the 0 and the minus. Just checking, to be sure. So we're waiting on what Ace is doing. My turn is actually interesting because I could drop the Najeela. Well, obviously I can. There's a Dranith. My bad. But Oko allows me to have a lot of options. I could create another food and just say go, keeping Noble Hierarchy for blocking. Okay. So Ace gets his card, puts it to the bottom, sorry, to the top, loses 2 life because of Imp-Seal, and casts a turn. Jin rolls for his crypt and takes a ball to the face. So he taps the mana crypt for a Green Monolith. That's a lot of mana. And just passes. That's pretty good. Okay, so... Well, since Jin rolled first, then Alex loses life. I think I roll even at this point. Hey. So that mana crypt is it's adding up. It's already hitting him twice. Nos has lost some value from that. So he proceeds to hardcast a monkey that it's not being shown on screen because of the angle, but it's fine. It's a monkey on the other side. Okay. So I dropped a Burden Catacombs, and here comes the decision on what I should do with Oko. If I should exchange the Tymna or Elkit, and I decided to Elkit, actually kind of raising the power on what's happening. Then I drop another blocker in Dark Confident and just passing. This is, in hindsight, this is not really good play because Ace can play Jeska and just kill my board and kill Oak also. But it is what it is. So he took his turn. I killed his card engine though, forever. Unless he can sack it for calling the weak and all stuff. But it's so much mana dumped and resources dumped into resetting Tymna that Elkinid is probably the best option here, instead of just exchanging control of. Which I could have exchanged control of the food and swung with Noble Hierarchy because of the Exalted trigger to draw 1 card myself, which is not bad. So he plays a match flats into a Badlands. So that's 5 mana, that's pretty good. Taps 1, 2, 3. And cast a Jeska. Yep. With 2 counters because he cast 2 commanders this game. Even with 1, it might be enough. So Oko is at 7 right now, and with the board he can actually kill Oko. He can just Jeska my creatures and swing everything at Oko, which is kind of like a weird play, but it makes sense. So Jin is pointing out that I could have exchanged control of the food for the Dranith, and that was probably the play to do instead of Elkin the Tymna, since I could keep the Dranith as a blocker, and I will leave Ace without the option of Jeska to kill my board. In hindsight, that was the correct play instead of what I did. Okay, so he proceeds to kill my board, leaving him with just food, my food. and then pass the turn. On his end step, okay, so what will happen here? So Jin is tapping his mana to abrade the Draneth. He needs to rebuild. He needs to draw cards. So Alex will never answer this, but I will crack this Verdant Catacombs for a tropical and this spell that they abrade. Because I need to protect it. I need to protect the Draneth to keep the game going and stop Jin and Alex from doing crazy shenanigans. So he continues by snapping the Draneth. But I can't do anything about that. I'm tapped out, I have low cards in my hand. It's just impossible to defend against that. So then he continues by adding 5 colors, 5 mana, sorry. 1 black, casting Tevesh. So after that, he goes to 6, gets 2 creatures, 2 thralls, and passes. Okay, so Alex also his turn and taps everything. There's still a monkey there, which I think comes into place right now. So he's asking for our graveyards in case of me betrayal. So we're waiting on Alex on what will be his turn. So his Jin's graveyard is Abrade, Snap, Imsil, and Heuristic Study. So Alex cleans the weak his Monkey. Adding 4 black. Okay, so that's when I ask him to move his camera so we can see what's going on. More for clarity for everyone else. So so the mystery card that Alex grasped from Ace is an Adnos. So that was big. So bouncing the Dranith was actually really bad because it allowed Alex to actually cast Adnos. So I believe there's no answers for the Adnos. Okay, so Adnos resolves. And the writing's kind on the wall. So he has 2 black and 1 colorless floating. For no wait, 1 colorless floating. Sorry. So he will Abrade, Diabolic Intent, a land, worthless, more lands, Cavalry, that's good. Land, Mystical Tutor, could do something. Land, the fairy, it's at this point it's too late. Jeska's will is big. So at this point we're hoping for him to kill himself. That's a probe, it doesn't do much. Stick Studies 3 to the face. Wish Glow goes to 10. Folgore goes to 8. So we're just waiting on see what's gonna do. I think he has it maybe with all those cards, but it's unsure. He has 2 more cards in hand, so if he has more mana there, he's Gucci. Yep, so he's deciding on what to do with this, if he's gonna continue or not. And we're trying to politic him into saying like, yeah, you can keep going, you can keep going. It's like, what's gonna happen? What's the worst that could happen? Just flipping Pita? Okay, so he decides to stop. He decides to stop and he checks cards in graveyards because of Call Ritual. He has 4 cards in library. So there's a Git Probe. He's gonna Git Probe Jin, since he's the one with the open mana. And he has Unsub, Mana Drain, and Reanimate. So it's basically nothing at this point. So what could have he done was he could have Mystical Tutor at the top, something to the top, and then Git Probe. It's one way to crack the pile on Mystical Tutor if you wanted to get a specific thing, which is kind of like a DT for 1 blue, kinda. But he's gonna Jeska's Will. Okay, so the Jeska's Will is gonna add only 3 red. It's his filtering mana from 2 colorless into red, basically. Not bad if he needs the colors. He still has 1 colorless floating because of, I believe, from the at the start from the mana crypt. So here's when I pull out the die and start making sense of what is his mana floating. So he has 1 floating, 1 colorless floating, yes. 3 red, that's the D4. And he keeps going. Okay. Okay, so 2 red floating to tap the signet. To add blue and black. That's the blue. And that's the black. So he has 1 black. Yep. So he has a black, a blue, 2 colorless, and 2 red. So we're asking how he's going to cast the DT. So he's going to use 1 red and 1 black for that. Yep. So he has 3 mana open still. But remember, he has a Cabal Ritual in his hand. He's just filling his graveyard for Cabal Red and keep going. Though he needs a black for it now. Does he still have it? Oh, he's looking for Dockside. So it's a 5. Oh yeah, so with Dockside it allows him to... Yep. So with that he has 1 blue open, and I think it's 5 treasures, I believe. Oh, 4 treasures. So that's actually a lot of filtering. That's good. That's good for him. That's allowed him to keep going. So he sacks 2 treasures. There's still 2 treasures open. With that mana, he's going to cast the Cabal Red. He has threshold for 5 black. Two treasures. Yep. Yep. So he has 2 treasures, 5 black, and 1 blue. That should be enough to get him there. Treasures being basically red mana, it's really good. Okay, so he casts Diabolic Intent, sacking the Dockside, and pays with 2 black. If he gets Breach, that's it. There's nothing we can do about it. Yep, and that's what he gets from the Diabolic Intent. Yep, and here he says that he has Brain Freeze in his hand, so he fills his graveyard and keeps recasting Dockside with Calling the Weak for basically a lot of mana. And basically kills his graveyard, dump his library into his graveyard and play the fish, consultation, or whatever he wants to win. Good game, Alex. Good game. That was a really good Adnos. Too bad the Adranis got bounced, but hey, it happens to all of us. Sometimes we make mistakes, we forget about small details in the table. No fault from you, Jim. No fault. It just happens, man. We learned something? Hey, still, good game. It was a lot of fun.